I am here today to talk about my thoughts on the movie Bird Box, as someone who has read the book. I would like to start this video off by saying that there are going to be spoilers for the book and the movie. Proceed at your own risk. I can't sit here and tell you all the differences between the book and the movie because literally the entire movie is different. The book and the movie share the same concept and some of the same characters. Yep. But what I'm going to talk about are the things that are different as a whole and how I thought it impacted the movie differently than the book. So in the book, first of all, Mallory is only 24 while she's in the boat with the kids. So she's only 20 when everything is starting, which I feel like already gives the audience a completely different take on the story and the main character, because Mallory was going through so much and she was so young. And also the fact that when everything started happening in the United States and everything where Mallory was, she was immediately with other people. She lost her sister and immediately she was with other people. And in the book, it was just her and her sister for 4 months, and then her sister died, and then she was all alone. And she drove to the house that she's in immediately in the movie, and was like sometimes opening her eyes so that she knew where she was going, and it was such a terrifying scene to be like, oh my god, like, she has to open her eyes sometimes, or she's not going to get there or know where she's going, but then what if she sees the things? And I just felt like because she's pregnant with this baby she didn't want, and she's all alone, and her sister just killed herself, and she doesn't know what to do because this has been happening for months and it's not going away, versus it just started happening, everyone is screaming and there's chaos everywhere, and now I've found a bunch of people who we can all help each other. Completely different start to the whole outbreak part of the story. I can't talk about the differences between the book and the movie regarding them being inside the house together because it is literally not the same. Literally nothing that happens inside the house is the same in the movie as it is in the book. So I can't even begin to talk about that, except that the whole time that is following them in the house, it's just a completely different feeling and a completely different type of fear. In the book, it's very much, I don't know what's happening, and the characters don't know what's happening, and the readers don't know what's happening, and you wish you could just open your eyes to see what's going on to make sure that it's nothing scary, but you can't because what if it's a scary thing? It's so, like, fear of the unknown. But in the movie it was very much loud music, people screaming, people banging somewhere, people running, chaos. It was just a very loud, chaotic type of fear that wasn't scary. If anything, I guess I would call it intense, but it wasn't even really intense in my opinion. Gary, I thought he had way less of an impact on the story in the movie because of the way he was introduced and how long he was in the house before everything started happening. And I also really didn't like that Tom lived past the whole chaotic scene when Olympia and Mallory had their babies. Because in the book she was all alone. Again. And she's just given birth and also now has somebody else's baby who just killed themselves. And she had to clean up all the dead bodies of all of her friends. And it was more emotional and more of an impact that all of this happened by herself. And it's like she was by herself at the beginning of the story, and then she found people who could support her, and then she lost them all again. While something else big just happened in her life. She just had a baby, and all of her friends are dead. All of them. And she has to do everything by herself. She has to raise the babies by herself and make sure that they don't open their eyes. She has to train them on how to hear things properly and better than she can, so that they can keep themselves safe if they need to. All by herself, after burying and cleaning up all of her dead friends. And I feel like the fact that Tom was there for the whole raising of the kids before the boat started in the movie just made that less meaningful. And I also thought that it made it less meaningful when she named them at the end. I thought it made it kind of weird that Tom was in their life 3 days ago, and she named Boy after Tom. And I just feel like it's kind of weird. I feel like if I was Boy, I'd be like, but that's Tom's name. And it was a lot better in the book, having named them after people they had never met, and it was more meaningful. And also it was more meaningful because she didn't have a relationship with Tom in the way that she did in the movie. They weren't in love or anything. He was just a great person. I also liked that in the book there was no love interest stuff happening. It was just survival. And they kind of ruined that in the movie by adding some love into the end that was just totally unnecessary. I just... Hey, Future Nat here with my weird cat. So there was a part that I swear I talked about in this review. I swear I did, and I'm editing it, and it's not there, and I'm so confused. And I remember talking about it because I was telling my friend about it on Marco Polo. So luckily, there is a video clip of it. So I really did want to include that thing that I talked about, so I'm going to insert it here. And then after it's over, it's just going to go back to the regular review.
Bothered me that Tom lived and was there to help her raise the kids, and I feel like it makes less sense why she didn't name the kids. In the book, it makes sense that she didn't name them because she was alone, and everybody died, and she had to clean up all of the dead bodies, gave birth, and has somebody else's kid. She doesn't want to name them. Like, she doesn't have the energy to do that. She can't. And if Tom was there the whole time, I feel like it's kind of stupid. Like, I feel like the reason for not naming them is just her being selfish.
The way everything happened in the boat was obviously different. I'm not going to talk about specifics about them being in the boat because the whole thing in the boat was different. But some of the specifics that I would like to mention are when they're talking about when you have to open your eyes. In the book, when she was talking to the people on the phone, not the walkie-talkie, about the safe house, or the safe place that she could go to, when they were saying the spot that she had to open her eyes was because there was a fork in the river, and she had to know which one to go down, it was, you have to open your eyes. And she kept repeating that to herself in her thoughts, like she was afraid, you're going to have to open your eyes. Like, you have to open your eyes at some point. There's going to be a point that you're going to have to open your eyes. And it was very impactful because it's all about, are your eyes closed? In the book, they were always asking anyone they always met, are your eyes closed? Close your eyes, everyone close your eyes. And in the movie it was, you have to look. And it just seemed not as punchy or impactful. You have to look. Okay? The other main thing that bothered me, which is really annoying because this was something that bothered me in the book, and it bothered me even more in the movie because they focused on it more and added to it more in the movie, and still there were no answers. And that was the people who were not affected by the things that make you kill yourself. And so in the book, there's a few people who aren't affected by it, and they seem kind of nuts. But there's nothing mentioned about their eyes looking different or anything. And it's not that they are, like, really except for Gary, but they're not really forcing people to look. They're just telling them that they can. Like, the guy on the river is just like, you don't have to be afraid. You can look. They're not going to do anything to you. And then he just kind of rows by. And in the movie, he was, like, forcing her blindfold off. Like, why? Why would they want people to look? And then there was, like, the hearing people's voices of the people you love telling you to look. Why is there something trying to force you to look? I don't know. It wasn't explained. In the book, there was less. It was just, there happened to be people who weren't affected by it. And some of them were kind of nuts, and Gary in particular wanted everyone else to look towards the end. But in the movie, all of the people who could see were forcing everyone else to also see. They were forcing everyone else to open their eyes. And it made that more of a question, which was more annoying that it wasn't answered. Already I thought that the book title was kind of dumb. And then they made it more dumb in the movie by changing the presence of the birds and the bird box. And so now the title is even more stupid in the movie. Because in the book I didn't really like it because I didn't think the birds had that much of a significance. The birds are in a box in the book outside of the front door of the house so that they can hear if there's anything outside because they squawk when there's something outside. But they don't get the birds until about halfway through the book. And if the birds were not in the book, there would be one less scary scene and that's it. It wouldn't have affected the story in any other way. And that's why I thought the title was kind of dumb. And in the movie it was even worse because they were just birds that they found in a store and took care of them, and then they put them in a box to come with them on the boat. What? What? So basically, overall, the movie was decent. Like, it was a decent movie. But it did not capture the essence of the book at all. The book was completely different in every way. Story, characters, the type of fear, everything. It was completely different. And I really enjoyed the way it was in the book. It was supposed to be scary, and it was scary. And it had... just all the stuff that happened in it was so much better. There were so many scenes in it that were so scary and that I was so interested to see how they were going to do it in the movie, and they were like, no, we're not going to do that. I can picture how it would be in a movie to make it scary. And I think it would be really good. And I think maybe in a couple years' time, somebody else should make a movie based on the book and do a better job. They should make it actually like the book, which also wouldn't be hard to do without cutting stuff out because the book is really short. They wouldn't have to take a lot out. Like, obviously some things would have to come out. That's a given. But they would be able to make it really similar to the book and have it be really good. So, those are my thoughts on the Bird Box movie based off the book. Let me know what you thought in the comments and we can have a chat about it. And I guess that's all for now. Bye. Have a good day.